good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to the second episode of How to Cook Like a Porn Star. I am an ex-porn star, and I am also a cook. You can call me Chef Frankie Hazard. I'm not a licensed chef. I'm not trained, but I've been a waiter for more than half my life. I love to cook. I'm Italian. It's in my DNA. You ask anyone who loves to cook, and they're going to tell you that the best thing is to prepare a meal for the people that they love. So I don't really love you guys necessarily. I don't know you that well, but if you're watching, I really like you. So my goal here is to sort of speak to the group of people who don't really know much about the basics of cooking and who are at home cooking for themselves, or you're on that Grubhub, you're on that delivery dudes, you're on that DoorDash or whatever it's called. So put the phone down and learn how to do some basic things to help yourself be more efficient. Because when this is all over and we all go back to our lives, you're going to have a skill set to prepare a bunch of food for yourself for the week, and that is going to, your body's going to thank you and your wallet's going to thank you. So we did eggs yesterday. Today we're going to go to my absolute favorite staple, which is rice. I know what you're thinking, rice is so boring, but it's so not. It's so exciting. But first, let's give you the rundown about rice, because not all rice is created equal. What I like is I like a long grain brown rice, black rice, wild rice. I mix that shit all together and I put it into a mason jar. Trader Joe's has got a killer brand of wild rice, and then Lumberg also does a huge variety of black rice, wild rice, brown rice. And just go shopping, get a bunch, figure it out, see what you like. So you're probably asking, brown or white? What's the difference? Well, white rice has been stripped of everything that gives brown rice its color and its nutritional value. It is the outer, the hull, the bran, where all the fiber is and where all the nutrients are at. So basically, white rice is completely void of all nutrition, and it's lonely, and it's naked, and it's afraid. So I don't really care for it, but you might. So if you're one of those people who likes lonely rice, have at it. But if you're like me, and you like brown rice, we're going to stick with this. Now, there's the issue of long grain versus short grain. Think sushi, all right? That rice is sticky. Why is it sticky? Because of its starch content. Short grain rice, ironically, has a much higher starch content than long grain. And if you really want to get scientific about it, I believe it's called amylose and amylopectin. So amylose is what is in, it's a type of starch. Amylose is what's in the long grain, and amylopectin is in the short grain. Amylopectin is going to give out a lot more starch when exposed to heat, thus that's why we have a starchy rice. Now that may be your thing, but for me, and I hope that you're going to adopt this as well, making rice, I make a bunch of it. I have it on hand. It provides me with a great foundation for the morning, the afternoon, and for dinner, because I can add eggs to it. Yeah. You can add vegetables, which we're going to go into probably later on today or tomorrow, and it's a great side dish. It could be dressed up, it could be dressed down. It's just really great to have on hand. So that being said, it's much easier to deal with a big pot of loose brown rice that's, just easier to work with than it is a big pile of mushy stickiness. Just a personal preference. You do what you do, I'm going to do what I do, and hopefully you're going to do it, and you're going to do it too. So let's get started. It's wicked easy. Just a couple of things to kind of keep in mind when you're doing this. 2-to-1 is pretty much your safe bet. So it's going to be 2 cups of water or stock. Get creative here. Veg stock, beef stock, chicken stock. Make your own stock. We'll go into that later. 2-to-1. 2 cups of liquid to 1 cup of rice. Now, in addition to the water, I also add a little bit of oil. I keep my oil in a little squirt bottle because it's easier to hit things with. I also use butter because butter makes everything better. I just use the oil to kind of coat the grains so when they're cooking, and especially when they come out, they don't stick together. That's just a tip. You can do the same thing with pasta as well. Just hit the water with some oil. It's going to coat the grain of the pasta. It's going to allow you to move with it a lot easier. The butter, it's just going to give it a nice amount of flavor. And if you want to get really creative, you can use the liquid from blanching or steaming. If you steam vegetables or you blanch vegetables, don't throw that water out. I mean, that's great, great water. Just throw it in there. Just throw it in there. This comes from the time I spent in California when we had the drought and we weren't flushing and we were just using water for absolutely everything, just reusing it and reusing it. I found out that it actually made a really great stock, so yeah. I tend to like my rice a little bit on the al dente side, so I kind of decrease the amount of water by maybe a quarter cup at the most. I keep an eye on it because you can always add water to it. You can't take the water out as easily. And then I also salt it. I use about maybe a teaspoon of salt per 2 to 1. That's just a personal preference. Salting the water will give it some flavor. You'll thank me for it. It makes a huge, huge difference at the end of the day. All right, so what you want to do is you want to put in the water. And this is the tip that I think you'll thank me for as well. Put the rice in first into the cup, then put it in there, and then put the liquid in, because if you do it the opposite way and you put the liquid in, it's wet, and then it sticks, and then you're doing all that. And then it just gets messy and the rice falls on the floor and then you're picking that up and you just wasted I don't know how many minutes when you could be doing something else like playing with the goats or playing with your dog. So, all right, we got that. We add a little bit of oil to the water. We add a little bit of butter, We also add some salt, which is in your cabinet, in your pantry. Again, with the salt, same as with the water, you can always add salt. It's so much harder to balance too much. So start small, taste as you go. I want you to taste your food as you go. I want you to be involved in the process as much as you can. Look at the water, watch how it boils. Take attention to your stovetop and see exactly where is your medium high and your high. Where does it come to a really aggressive boil? Where does it come to a nice gentle boil? You're going to know these things, and if you're going to start cooking a lot more at home, you're really going to have to establish a relationship with your oven and your cooktop. All right, really, really simple lesson, but if you can master that, you're going to provide yourself with a great foundation for a lot of other things. Think of rice and eggs while we're talking about it. Think of rice and eggs as a really nice canvas to just paint something real, real nice. It just gives you something to work with. It gives you the foundation to build on. Happy building. I'll see you soon. And I think next time what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to cook an onion. How to cut an onion and cook it. I mean, it's already cut. Might as well do it. How to cook and cut an onion. How to cut a zucchini or a cucumber or vegetables that have that shape, and a little secret involving green beans. I know that you're just dying for that. All right, bon appetit. As I walked away and I went outside, I realized that I didn't provide you with another piece of information that I bet most of you know, but some of you don't. So, the water. When all the rice and all the water, your butter, your salt, your hit of oil, it's all in this pot, and it comes to a boil, which would probably be at a medium high, you want to take that heat down and you want it to simmer. Now, when I say simmer, I don't mean like the water kind of ripples, because that's not really doing anything. You want to see some bubbles. You want to see some boiling action, but you don't want it to be all aggressive. You want it to just slowly roll. And if it happens to be too much and your heat was too high and the water is beginning to evaporate to the point of it not being there, take a spoon. It's important to continually test your food. Taste your food, taste your food, taste your food. Have a connection with your food. So the water is getting really down. You're like, oh my gosh, is it done? I gotta test it, right? You test it, you're like, it's not done and there's no water. What do I do now? You don't panic. You just go and get some more water. You get a little bit of water because remember, you can always put water in and you can't take it out. Always start small. Remember that. Just kind of keep that circulating in your thoughts. You can always add more, always add more. So you'll add a little bit more water. You might want to bring your heat down while you're there. And you're just going to watch it. And you're going to stir it. And you're going to taste it. And you're going to stir it. And you're going to watch it. And you're going to taste it. And then, in a perfect world, you will have a delicious, nutritious shit ton of brown rice. I can't with this rice. It's so good. And it's not chewy, it's firm, it's nutty, it's salty, and I'm going to put some lime juice on this with some pulled chicken that I did yesterday. And then I'm going to get some cilantro that I had growing outside. And then I'm going to grab a beer, and I'm going to grab the dog, maybe grab the goats, and we're going to have chicken tacos. How cool is that? Good luck.